Tell your friends! Tell your friends about Hooks and Ladders, but also about songstudio.ca. You can get all kinds of information about songwriting, tips, and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, like, follow, and subscribe. That's what we need. That's what you need.
Hey, welcome to Hooks and Ladders. What you're about to see is part of what we did at the SongStudio workshop in Toronto in July 2022. There'll be lots more to see. We're just going to roll it out a little bit at a time. So sit back and enjoy. And if you want to know more about SongStudio, visit www.songstudio.ca and check us out. Enjoy.
What about co-writing, though? Do you do much of that?
I have not done a lot of it. As I say, it's weird because I started out doing tons of it, right? I started out, like, that's the pool I jumped into, and then I moved on from that, and I really have never done it again since. I've done it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to a place now, this is so funny because I'm talking about the pre-production of this new Lowest to the Low record, and I've just been in a band with those guys for so long that I will get comments like this, like Dave, our drummer, will go, yeah, I don't like songs with the word street in the title. And I'm like, oh, you don't, eh? You know, like when we get into that thing, we're sort of like up in each other's grill because he's picked something I think is so ridiculously irrelevant, but it means something to him. And then I kind of get my back up a little bit, like, you know, are you so spoiled? I come in here with like 30 songs a year. Are you so spoiled that you can just say, I don't like the word street in the titles, you know?
Yeah.
So I have to change
that would
the title.
drive me insane.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. As the songwriter, my feeling, I don't always articulate it because it would be babyish, toddlerish of me to say, but I'm like, oh yeah, you write a song, man. You bring in a song.
Without the word street in the title. Yeah. See how easy
exactly.
that is?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that easy.
Yeah, but that would annoy the hell out of me. Okay, we've got to wrap up pretty soon. So have you guys got any questions for Ron?
Lowest to the lows. When I first heard
No, you go.
Lowest to the lows. When I first heard it, I was like, wow, that's an interesting name. How did it come to be? How did you arrive at it?
That band is like, it's an unfortunate situation wherein I'll go the long way around, which is I just watched the Beastie Boys. I don't know if you guys have seen this Beastie Boys thing on Netflix where the two remaining Beastie Boys are going around doing a theater show where they're telling the history of the band, and Spike Jonze is showing like film and stuff behind them. And they made so many crazy what would look like errors to most people because they would do something because they thought it was funny. And then it would have all these ramifications for them, like with the record labels and record sales and stuff like that. And I said, wow, Lowest to the Low is basically the same as the Beastie Boys, because that name came around. We were sitting around and we were just kicking around ideas for titles. And it was like, I think the bass player had a framed thing on his wall and it was a map of England. And it said something at the bottom. And I said, does that say Shakespeare's brain? And Steve said, I think it says Shakespeare's butt. And then I said, Shakespeare, my butt. And then somebody said, that's the album title. And I was like, no, what? You know, so sort of like, that was kind of a joke, right? And then we went and we made like 70 other titles that were stupider. And we circled back to that. So now circle like 30 years later, Warner is going to put out a box set for Lowest to the Low. And I'm in the office and I go, oh, it should be called Shakespeare in My Box. And then everybody goes, that's amazing. And I'm going, no, it's not amazing. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So it's like, you know, in that band, you can't say things out loud unless you really mean them, because everybody goes, that's amazing, you know.
That's great.
So yeah, and everybody I knew, like, because the band that we came out of was called Popular Front, and everybody I knew was like, you can't call your band Lowest to the Low. That's horrible. And then the way names work is like 6 months later when we were starting to get some energy, people were like, that's an awesome name, you know. Because they just attach it, like Beatles. You know,
exactly. The Beatles is the stupidest band name ever.
Yeah.
It's a play on beat and also the bug. You know, it's so stupid.
Well, and Beastie Boys is an acronym. Beastie, you know, boys entering, but you know, and it's like, and he goes, the stupid thing is, boys is already in the word acronym, and they're called like the boys, blah 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 boys. You know,
right,
it's like,
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jamie.
I just wondered, Ron, if you have a writing routine, you benefit from
a routine. Well, the routine that I do have is, as I say, having that little space to go to behind the furnace. I'm sure everybody has a similar 8 foot by 8 foot little dark room behind the furnace. All I know is that over the years, if I go down there and I fire stuff up and I grab a guitar and I muck about, that something will happen. And it's like, you know, I heard recently somebody saying, you know, the problem with people, the way we're taught about art in our societies is that it's inspiration and then action. And they're like, it's exactly the reverse. Action, you have to be working. And then inspiration, when inspiration hits, you have to be working, you know?
But you don't have to go down there. You don't have to like admit, say, I'm going to do 4 hours today or I'm going to go down.
No.
It's just, you just go when you feel it.
Yeah, and it's like, I feel like work begets work in terms of like, if I'm in the zone, like I'll go down there every now and then and pick it up, you know, probably like several times a week, 2, 3, 4 times a week, for even if it's a little bit or longer, you know, and that usually is dictated by how it's going, you know. If I'm really frustrating myself, then I'll usually cut it short. But if I hear something, and I don't know what your process is, but mine is like maybe a little bit like Paul's. I don't want to self-aggrandize, but like I'm just doing this and I'm singing gibberish, absolute gibberish, you know, making crazy guttural sounds and melodies and everything, and then sometimes a word will pop out, and then I go, huh, that's interesting, and then I kind of reverse engineer from there, like sort of what does that mean? Like an example I often use is peace and quiet. This phrase peace and quiet came out of the gibberish, and I was like, huh, what is that? You know, and why did I say that, and what does it mean to me? And so then I sort of wrote around that.
Why is it important enough to write a song about, in a way? Bruce, go ahead.
You know, I really love your music and your voice is playing it. It's like, what always impresses me about professionals is they jump right in and give 100%. Doesn't matter if it's classroom or anywhere. Like I noticed about Steve Page when he was here, like, I really appreciated the energy from the performance. A kind of maybe prosaic question, but can you make a living in Canada? Can you make a living in Canada?
Yeah, I'm in a mysterious place. I think I might be like a dodo bird or something, because, you know, I keep seeing. I saw some ridiculous thing online, and it claimed to list how many people in the world were making a living strictly by art, and the number was so low. It was something like 80,000 people, and I was like, "There's no way that's true."
No.
But whatever, it's very low probably, and I know a lot of very successful and very talented people. A handful of them I feel like are more talented than I am, who don't make their living. And I make my living solely from art, like mostly from music, and also I'm a visual artist, so from painting as well.
Right.
And yeah, it's certainly like it's a hustle, and it's always been a bit of a hustle and a bit of you know, how now they call it the gig economy. It's been that way for me all my life. But
Yeah,
Money
exactly.
doesn't come from selling CDs anymore. It comes from touring, right? More of the
yeah, well, which was why COVID, you know, hit, and then it was like, okay, so now we can't play either.
Yeah, can't sell CDs, can't play.
What are we going to do? And that's what, like, as I say, I'm so blessed to be in a position where I'm also a painter. So I just switched gears and did a lot of painting, and I was selling paintings during that. And then, you know, of course, I have to think about all the people that posting Justin Trudeau as the, you know, the biggest authoritarian the world has ever seen. And I'm like, I don't know, he sent me $2,000 a week or a month or whatever it was with Serb. I'm like, he doesn't seem to be that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah. Any other questions? Well, we have to adhere to a schedule at some point, and but yeah, you know what? That'd be fine with me. If I'd love that. Would you do another song for us?
Maybe I'll just play that one. That's Peace and Quiet song, which
Oh,
is,
that's great. Yeah.
And
Good idea, Bruce.
And here's another thing too: is sometimes I'm not always I'm not the best judge of what is the best song on the record, because this song, I was making a record called Chemical Sounds, and I was playing it just with a drummer, and then I played all the rest of the instruments of one of my first solo records, and so we had all the songs and everything, and I was like, and then there's this, and I started playing this thing that I thought was, you know, was fine and everything, and he's like, are you crazy? Like, he's like, you have to go home and finish that tonight. Like, that's the best song on the record, right? And I was like, all right. So I'm never, ever the judge.
Right.
I'm not allowed to judge anymore. You'll notice that the word street does not happen in the title, though.
Thank goodness.
Hey there, tragic one. I saw your ghost in Kensington. The sly sentry of the alleyway. The wounded soldier from the bad old days. And it took me somewhere I haven't been for years and years. Old appetites like souvenirs. The light turned around, you disappeared into a street steeped in silence. By the sweet peace and quiet. The lights never go down. 1,000 shooting stars in Chinatown, reflected in your eyes, electric blue. The kiss lingers like a deja vu. But all the lovers crash and echo under the overpass. They lie pinned beneath their memories, a million colliding destinies. Stay in the street, pierce the silence. All the sweet peace and quiet. Because this black sky, you've had to change the weather. You don't do wildest eyes. I said never, said never. And even though we lied, we swore we'd stay this way forever. And is it funny how you seem just like a rumor now? A conversation that I overheard, the frail echo of a foreign word. And is it funny or sad? Sometimes we just walk away. No bittersweet Remembrance Day. Why do you think that we do that? To get free, peace and quiet, but peace and quiet. If you don't, you wildest eyes. I say never, say never. If you don't, you wildest eyes. Time will change the weather. Oh, this time we'll get it right. Yeah, this time we'll get it right.
Ron Hawkins, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. That was great. Yeah.
Cheers.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to Ron. What a great session.
We hope you've enjoyed this little taste of the SongStudio workshop in Toronto in July 2022. Stay tuned for more.